Okay, I was going to show how to get the balance shaft bearing out of the front nose pieces. This is the upper one, but it's the same for the carrier on the bottom. It's just bulkier. I use a hydraulic press. This is a Harbor Freight special. It works just fine. You can do the same thing with a hammer or a vise or an arbor press, but honestly, the hydraulic press is the safest way to go. And of course, the goal is to get that little bearing that's in there out of there. So the factory tool isn't really available anymore. So what you're looking for is a socket that is about just under 34 millimeters around. This is a 25 millimeter Craftsman half-inch drive, and it's about 33 1/3, which is good enough for this process. And the idea is you want to put the socket just over the top of the bearing so that when you press down, the socket will push the bearing out the bottom. You need to be really careful to make sure that the socket is centered right over the bearing itself and not hanging over the lip of the carrier. That looks just about right, and then you can start adding pressure and then get out the cranking rod, and with any luck, as you push down, the socket will push the bearing out the bottom of the carrier. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that in there. See what's going down? Just pushing it right out the bottom. You can heat up the carrier when you take it out, and that might make it a little bit easier to come out, but the factory service manual doesn't say anything about doing that. And honestly, I've never done that, so. We should hear it fall in a second. But I've reached the end of our hydraulic range, so please hold. So right now we've got it 95% of the way down. Let me deal with that. Now, just like that, what do you know? Put that on there so that I got more room to crank down. Now we should be able to just punch that baby out the bottom. Yay! So, now, that's the bearing. That's the race it came out of. When you get a new one, it's exactly the same except the opposite. So I don't know if that is exactly the same, but you get my point. You just put it in there like that, line it up just so. What I actually do, or have done, is start it with a plate like this, because that way you know that you're pressing straight flat down and not on an angle, because the last thing you want to do is get it cocked in there. So then once it's in there like that, halfway, you know it's square and it's not going to go sideways, because if it goes sideways, you're in big trouble. Push ever so intensely on the bearing. That should do it. So now it's all the way in there. It's not standing proud of the board at all. It's just a little bit below the ridge. And that, you're good to go.